Hello everyone, welcome to another AI for Business episode. This is Arthur Bassani here, and in this second episode we're going to be talking about after trying AI tools in my business, this is why AI still isn't helping most small businesses. So if you haven't watched episode 1, go back there. I have shared a little bit of my experience using AI in my businesses without any coding. I'm not a developer myself. I'm a business owner. I am overwhelmed with a lot of different things like marketing, sales, and HR, and dealing with custom problems and trying to sort out all of the business operation challenges in finances, accounting. So it's very easy to be overwhelmed with everything that we do, and AI can be a great helper. And in the first episode, I shared how I've been using AI to improve many areas in my business. And today we're going to be talking about the opposite, why it doesn't work in many of the cases. I think it's very important to understand some of the limitations and the areas we need to be aware of, like the risks. So when implementing it, we come with strategy to do the right thing instead of losing time trying things that doesn't work or getting overwhelmed with AI anxiety, which we're going to be talking today in this session. So first, this program is for small business owners and professionals who want to understand how AI can actually help their business without hype, without coding, without confusion, and without wasting months testing tools that doesn't work. Sam Altman from OpenAI, that's actually a phrase that's attributed to many AI leaders out there. They said that AI won't replace humans, but humans who use AI will replace those who don't. And this is exactly the same for businesses, I believe. AI won't replace, what we do in businesses, but those businesses without AI, they are in a danger zone. Okay, they need to adapt. Otherwise, businesses with AI, they're gonna pass those businesses without AI very easily. And if you are a small business owner like me, we already have too much to think about. There's a lot to do, and we still have that AI FOMO out there, saying that fear of missing out. Hey, I need to surf the AI wave. That was exactly the case for me. And then the goal here in this episode is to share some of those risks and things that doesn't work really well, and that you need to be aware in the process of building the strategy for your business, because you're going to do AI in your business as well. Keep following me, and we're going to be sharing a lot of tools and advice on how to do that. This program, very important, is not for developers. This is not for large-scale corporations. So I'm not going to be talking about very technical stuff here. I'm not a developer myself. I don't know how to do code. Every code that I've done was with AI doing that for me. But I am a business owner. So if the content I'm going to be sharing here is going to be focused on that, not for developers, not for those large-scale corporations that require a lot of bureaucracy to make any change. This is for medium to small business owners and professionals in the industry who wants to advance more. And this program is not about saying that AI is bad as well, although the terminology can seem a little bit about negative, saying why AI isn't helping. But I want to focus here on understanding that gap between the AI hype and the AI reality, because it's massive, guys. It's massive. So if you open your Instagram, Facebook, or social media, or even YouTube, and you start, absorbing content about AI, every single day it's, hey, what you learned yesterday doesn't apply anymore, there's something new. And then you learn about something, and the next day there's something new. And then you open the news, and then Elon Musk says that software developers won't exist by the end of this year. And then a lot of people saying different things. I just want to bring your attention here that there's like billions and billions of dollars, actually trillions of dollars being invested in this industry. And some of the comments that come up in the industry is hype. There's a lot of people trying to make money from people saying those things. And I want to be very pragmatic here about what works, what doesn't work, and that's why I started building this. I was like, there's a lot of things there. I want to test what actually works and share those lessons with those willing to hear. So there's this gap about the AI hype. AI is awesome, is great, but there's a lot of hype, obviously. And I think most people believe that the AI is a tool and that's going to create instant productivity. And the reality is a little bit different. It's what I have put here on my mental map. So you start using AI tool, and then you've got some productivity. So the first time you open ChatGPT, as I showed in my previous video about how you can ask ChatGPT to ask you 10 questions about your business plan or your marketing strategy or many of the different things you're trying to do, it's awesome. You just start using it. It's like, wow, that's amazing. Really, really like this. But then if you start to rely on this so much, you start to get some confusion about, hey, you know what, maybe I'm being too verbose here. Maybe I didn't need all of this. Or, hey, am I wasting a lot of time talking to ChatGPT instead of actually getting things done? Or isn't this, I don't know, very generic to what I want to do? So there's some confusion there, and then there's more work, and then you need to learn new skills. Then you need to, build new processes. You need to structure how you actually delivering that information to AI so you can actually receive a better outcome. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't put the right prompts, you're not gonna get the right answers. So when you start doing all of that, that's when the real productivity starts to show up. So it's very important to understand that. So once again, this program is not to tell that AI is a bad thing. We're just going to be, I'm going to be sharing here some of the lessons learned and worries that I have. About myself, if you don't know me, my name is Arthur. I'm the CEO of Shedmate here in Australia, which is a shed company, software shed company for shed businesses. We are in the code formed and structured steel segments. I'm not, an AI guru. I'm not here to, teach people about, AI as a developer, as a scientist. My goal here is to actually get the practical things that are happening in the technology and how we can apply that to business. Okay, this is pretty much what we're doing. And my background is in business consulting and in the BIM space, building information modeling. I have that construction, I'm an engineer myself, so I have that construction background. And I help companies improve in people, processes, and technologies. So this is the main, topics we're going to be covering here in the future episodes. Is people, processes, and technology, and I'm going to discuss this more in this episode as we go. And my approach to technology is very pragmatic and simple. Technology alone doesn't solve problems. If I get, ChatGPT, the best model out there, and put it on my mom's hand, she's not going to do a great job on it. Because so it's not only the technology. We need to actually get, okay, what's the processes and what's the people. And then when you put all of that combined, that's when you get business effective outcomes from AI. Okay. And my method, it involves two main areas. As I mentioned to you, I'll start with this one here, is improving people, process, and technology. And that's very similar to the BIM implementation out there. I used to implement BIM in companies, and people were very skeptical about BIM. When it comes to something new, no one wants to change. When they do, they say they do, but they really, on the surface, they are saying they want to change, they're good with it, but on the back, they don't want to change. No one likes change, okay? So that's something that's very important to understand about people because AI is a change. And if you're implementing it in your business, you need to, go slow. You need to take it easy. You need to have a good strategy. Otherwise, you can overwhelm a lot of people and you can create a lot of skepticism that in many of the times they don't tell you, right? As a business owner myself, I know many times people don't tell you the truth because they're afraid of getting fired, of being fired. They're afraid of many different things, or what you're going to think about them. They don't provide you some feedback sometimes. So it's very important to be careful about the people, and we're going to talk more about this as we go. But the other thing about the method that we're going to be sharing here is very focused on the Lean Startup mindset. If you haven't read the book, The Lean Startup from Eric yet, I would advise to do it. And it covers a lot build, measure, learn, which is a very good lean cycle in which we build things, we measure what's working, what's not working, we learn from those lessons, and then we improve that build, and then we keep doing that. That's a lot that we do in software development, but it can be applicable in your AI implementation for your business as well. So you're gonna build something very simple, you're gonna test, and you're gonna learn, and then you keep going until you get something that works well for you. So being very practical without having to spend hours and thousands of dollars doing something that may or may not work for you. The phrase of the day for this episode is AI is like teenage sex. Everyone talks about it. Nobody really knows how to do it, and everyone says they're doing it. Let that sink in for a while, right? I think this is pretty much what we have here. And if you're a small business owner like myself, trying to use AI right now, you probably know exactly what I mean. You say, yep, I'm using AI. I'm using ChatGPT. ChatGPT. And that's what they tell everyone. Yeah, we use AI in our business, but actually you're just using if you compare it to an Excel, you're just using the sum formula, and you're saying that you use Excel, in your business. There's so much more you could be doing. Okay, and it's like teenage sex. Everyone talks about it. Nobody really knows how to do it, and everyone says they're doing it. I really like that phrase. So, what's in this episode 3? What we're going to be talking about today? The 3 type of business owners, and some of the quotes of I tried AI and it didn't work. I didn't like chat. I used OpenAI model and didn't like it. I don't have time to learn AI. I hear that a lot. Or I'm afraid AI will replace my work. To be honest, sometimes I actually, although being the business owner, I'm afraid it's going to replace me in like 5-10 years. Wow, in the speed that things are going. I don't know. It's very, very interesting. We're gonna have some philosophical discussions about this as well. Very important how AI anxiety can overwhelm you. I would like to bring a paper and make some comments as we go through that paper together on AI anxiety, which is a very important topic. And if you don't have AI anxiety yet, once you start learning more and more about AI, I think that's gonna kick in. Okay. And it's very important to understand that so you have the right protection, so you're not overwhelmed. Some of the negative effects of AI for business, and I'll just delete this from the previous one. So what understanding the risk of AI, why understanding the risk of AI is an opportunity. There's a lot of investment, hype, and bias around AI news. And as I mentioned to you, if you open any social media these days, or if you open AI news, you're overwhelmed. It's like, wow, there's no way anyone can keep up with all of this. And it's exactly what's happening in the AI development. There's like a lot of money invested in this industry, and they just keep using resources, and they keep building, they keep training things. And differently from the automation revolution when happened in the revolution era, what's happening with AI now, it's crazy, because a new development in Toronto that happened like 30 minutes ago now can be streamed and can be shared with everyone all over the world through the internet. And this is the crazy thing about AI. It's a crazy revolution, but the new developments, they're instantly available for everyone. And this creates a lot of AI anxiety and overwhelm. Okay, so it's very important that you understand what you're doing and you don't fall into the traps of the hype, because if you don't do that, you might be losing a lot of time and money in your business. Okay, so let's talk now about some of the industry worries, and these are just some screenshots of messages that I share with my team when we're discussing AI. One of those is in terms of development. As I said, I am the owner of Shedmate, which is a software company. I don't do any coding. I have a great business partner, Tiago, is an amazing CTO with me, and he's the head of development, and he shared this with me. My AI wrote, that's not Tiago, by the way, that's Vance. He just shared that screenshot with me, saying, my AI wrote 11,000 lines of code last Thursday. The product team found 340 bugs on Friday. I ran those bug reports through another agent, which filled 340 new feature requests, which now my AI is coding. The loop has been running for 6 weeks, and we have not shipped anything. The velocity metrics are incredible. That's a very, very nice example of the use of AI tools, but we're just in the loop without getting anywhere, right? We're just consuming resources, we're just playing with this nice technology, doing these very nice things, but you're not going anywhere. So that's something to be aware of, okay? The other one is this screenshot I got from a newsletter that I received, and I just want to focus here. Despite the hype, less than 1% of layoffs in 2025 were attributable by productivity gains by AI. So a lot of people say AI is going to dominate the market force, and people are going to be, be fired from their jobs, and AI is going to do everything. So that's not what happened in 2025, but this is happening, right? Maybe not in the speed that the news share, but it's happening. And the real risk here is like 50% of generative AI projects are abandoned, and 49% of leaders fail to demonstrate AI value. Okay, it was the same with me when I started applying AI for my business. I tried so many things, and most of them didn't work. But the thing is, the ones that do work, they're awesome, and you don't need like a lot of resources, and you don't need a lot of time to actually test this and put into to the trial in your business and see what's working or not. So it's very Very important to understand that there is a AI hype. Most projects they abandoned, but it's just like any startup. Most startups they fail. Most business fail as well. Does that mean that we need to stop doing businesses? No, right? Most business fail, so we got to be the ones that that have strategy and that go in the right direction. So the other one is this video here. I'll probably just jump into some specific areas of this video. I'll let you to see by yourself if you want. That's from why replacing developers is going really wrong. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump here to some of the important things of this video. So 2/3 of the tech industries haven't saved a single human headcount. Okay. And I'll share here. Over 25% of Google's new code was AI generated. That's what was shared. There's 40 billion in global investment. 95% of generative AI pilots in the enterprise sector have failed to deliver measurable return on investment. Okay, I'm just gonna go through these main phrases here from this video. AI generated code tends to be simpler, more repetitive, and less structurally diverse. And while AI can help a junior developer finish a basic task 35% faster, it makes the final product less maintainable over the long term. So just a quick insertion here. That's exactly what I've been discussing here with my technical team using artificial intelligence to code. They said, look, it's amazing for basic concepts, and that's the state of the art today, 2026. In 6 months, or in a year, that might be totally different from what I'm sharing with you right now. But right now, the state of the art is it's very good to do basic concepts. However, it creates a lot more data and information than it actually needs. However, it is still positive for businesses because if you're doing a new website, for example, and you're trying, for example, A/B pages to see which one is better, AI can do that in a very simple way for you, and it might cost you, for example, $10 to do that. And although a developer would write less code, the AI created more messy code, but it delivered that prototype for you for $10, which the developer wouldn't be able to do. Why not? Okay, why not to use it? So this is my discussions when I have with my team here. Although AI has a lot of challenges still in terms of code, for example, which I'm sharing with you here today, it still can produce a more economical value outcome than paying a developer to do that. And that's the worry of the AI anxiety in terms of job replacement. Okay, and with time, in 5 years, in 10 years, who knows where that technology is going to be? Maybe even with a lot less of those errors. Okay, let me just go through a few of those things here. CAS Software analyzed 10 billion lines of code and found that it would take 61 billion workdays to pay off the world's current technical debt. So what it's saying here in this video is a lot of these companies are using AI and they are pretty much bombing their servers with more and more code that there's no way that humans can actually go through all of those lines of code to actually check what's out there. So although AI can be great for enclosed segments, when you start building something more complex systems which you have a lot of things connected, this is where the mess can happen because the AI will probably have an issue, and who do you hold accountable for if that issue cannot be inspected by humans, and it's going to take 61 billion workdays to pay off the world's current technical debt. So this is the tricky part of using AI, and my advice here, and by the way, take my advice with a salt, Grant. My advice is use this in enclosed segments instead of, if you have a big project, break it down in smaller parts and use AI in those smaller parts, but you still the human in the loop, controlling everything. And I believe that comes back to what Sam Altman said, that people with AI knowledge will replace those without AI knowledge. But it's not AI that's going to replace all of that. Okay, I hope that's making sense for you. Engineers are now reporting being 19% slower when using AI tools. And why is that? It's because these engineers, they can code faster, but they need to spend more time checking that code and ensuring that that's working. Then they need to spend time learning new tools because we have new AI tools being launched every single day. So instead of coding, instead of doing what they were supposed to do, they are now investing time in fixing code that AI produce and learning new tools to see if they're actually better and running experiments. So they're actually becoming slower when using some of these AI tools. So this is what this research found out. Also, the AI-generated pull requests contain an average of 10.8 detected issues, nearly double the 6.4 found in human written code. Once again, this is based on older models. Obviously, these AI models, and when I say the models, I'm talking about the technology behind those models, they're becoming better and better with time, which means that in 5, 10 years, or even 5 months, we won't have all of those 10.8 issues. But the other thing is, although the human has less issues, it's more expensive to make, and that's why AI is becoming kind of the norm for vibe coding. People are using this a lot. Okay? Continuing here, employment for younger workers has declined significantly, while it has increased for workers over 35. That's another worry that I have personally, and I can see that immediately happening in my business as well. So what I'm saying by this is junior workers, they're not as required now because AI is doing their job. And I had the discussion with my technical team here, which is like senior developers. They said, look, I can use AI and I can do the job of a senior worker by interacting with it and providing some guidance. So it's like instead of training a junior guy, I can train the AI. And once I train the AI, it can do a lot more things for me with a much better return on investment than a small junior. But the problem for that, guys, and I'll let you think about it, is if a junior developer is not in the marketplace, in 5 years we won't have senior developers because those junior developers, they are not doing that. AI is doing that for them. And that's another worry that we need to think about how we're going to handle this. And honestly, I don't know the answer right now. I'm just sharing some of this information with you. Median salaries for general software roles have actually dipped by nearly 90% year on year, although people say that AI is replacing their jobs, and that's why they don't have the same amount of money to pay and all of that. So there's a lot of bias and a lot of fake news around there. So be careful on that. Be skeptical. We need a human to oversee the architecture, but since AI is doing 40% of the heavy lifting, we can justify those 2022 level salaries. That's what some of these companies are saying. And there's a lot more about AI. There's a lot of scams. There's a lot of problems like Builder AI collapse that was a big one. You can do some research about this to learn more about what happened with Builder AI. I don't want to spend too much on this. I just wanted to share some of those informations in terms of the industry worries about AI. That's not only flowers, there are some challenges as well when dealing with AI. And now I'd like to share my experience on this. So these are my worries when using AI. The first one is when you start playing with it, it's awesome, as I said. You open ChatGPT, you start building your AI agents, you start doing stuff, and it's just like, wow, that's great. I'm gonna replace a lot of things here. Those guys who are not performing my business, they're gone, and this is gonna be doing things for me. I think that's the first excitement that you've got. But then the excitement starts to fade away when you find those bottlenecks, and then you are the human in the loop that needs to come back and fix those bottlenecks, but you don't know how to fix it because AI is not deterministic, it's probabilistic. It's just gonna spill out things. So if you ask 10 times ChatGPT a question, it's gonna give you 10 different answers. Okay, although they might be related, all of the answers are different, and sometimes you don't need that in business. So this is why it's a little bit tricky. It's like you start doing a lot more with AI, but at the same time, it increases your liability a lot because you have to do a lot more with a single person instead of a team. And when that starts happening, you definitely are going to have challenges, including the AI anxiety that I mentioned here. So you need to understand and dedicate time to... Sorry, let me read that again. When you find bottlenecks and you then understand you need to dedicate more time than you expected. So yeah, so that aligns to what I was discussing here. When you're doing AI, using AI to do your job, then it turns out that it doesn't do the job that you expected, and then you try to teach it and it doesn't understand exactly in the way you wanted it, and then it starts to create problems, and then you are the person solving the problem because you're now doing more things because AI increased your productivity. So you're increasing our liability as well in terms of the amount of things we do. So I believe this focus follows a business principle, which is what comes easy goes easy, or garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have the right foundations, if you don't have the right prompts, if you don't have the right information when using AI, you're gonna have a terrible outcome, and that outcome can impact your business a lot. So be careful about this. Um, as I discussed, another word is AI is already replacing work, specifically junior work for now, but I can see the exponential projection of its advancement. And in my business, for example, we do have some work that previously was done by a person that we remotely hired from the Philippines that was doing some basic business admin for us, and now we have an AI agent that does that. We had a person that would answer all of the phone calls, and now we have an AI agent that answers that phone calls and passes the information to us. So although it's not like an engineer call, it's not someone highly capable. It's just that secretary call that just says, hey, yeah, thank you for calling ShedMate, for example. Please tell me your challenges, and then you're gonna pass the information to someone else. So this job that used to be done by a person, now an AI is doing it, and it's a junior job. But the AI is just getting better and better, and I can see that AI actually starting to talk to our customers, specifically about the specific challenges, having access to our database and understanding the exact projects and pain points and addressing the solutions straight away, which is happening. It's slowly, but it's happening in our case because we're still working on the processes and people, but the technology is there. The technology is there, and there is nothing blocking us from developing it, but we're still focusing on the people and processes there. And obviously, AI anxiety. I'll share the document with you guys. That's this one here. It's a AI anxiety, a comprehensive analysis of psychological factors and interventions. But I'll start with my experience. When I started using AI, I think it was as most people. I started using chat. ChatGTP helped me a lot, and I was very excited about it. It's like, wow, that's gonna that changed the game. A lot of things that I used to do, email writing to customers, market research, competitor research, a lot of things now ChatGPT is gonna be doing for me. And then I started learning ChatGTP prompting, how to do a better prompt. And then I was like, wow, that's amazing, we have all of these. And then I had the AI hacking course. Hey, that there's something called prompt injection. People can use prompts to actually get data from your AI. And I was like, And then I started learning about it. And then I learned something about NA10. NA10 is a system that I was able to create my own AI agent, linking to Gemini in a model, and then linking that to my business database to create quotes and send that in an email for me. So I created the whole workflow of automation, and I was amazed. I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is awesome. That's the best thing out there. And then you open the news, and then there's something new. And then I learned Claudebot. I installed my own Claudebot, my VPS. Never done that before, but I was using AI to teach me how to do it, and I did. It worked well. We're going to have future discussions about how to do all of that if you want in the future. And I was extremely excited about Claudebot because it's an autonomous agent that actually works without me having to ask for it. So ChatGTP pretty much only replies when I ask it for something. Claudebot's different. Claudebot, I say, hey, I need you to build a website for me, and I need you to do this, this, and that. It goes there and does it. And then you provide feedback, and it improves it. And it can send messages, for example, every 6 a.m. in the morning, say, hey, Arthur, well, like, it's a beautiful day. The weather is like this, and this is your next priorities for the week based on what you shared with me earlier. And it learns as you talk to it. It's simply amazing. I'm using it. It's actually here, my Claudebot. I talked to it on via Telegram. And it's great. It's great. And then I opened YouTube once, and they said, hey, Claudebot is done. There's something now called SKUs, Claude Cowork. So, guys, it's just like, come on, I just learned this last week, and now every work that I've done, it doesn't exist anymore. It's done because there is a new tool, a new technology, something new that works better. So it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming, I have to say, and this is one of the main risks and worries about AI when you start doing in your business. And the main reason I say that is if you're a small business owner like me, you're not only doing AI. And you don't have the money probably to spend for like a bunch of technical experts to do a huge implementation in your company. You're dealing with marketing, you're dealing with customers, you're dealing with sales, you're dealing with prospecting, you're dealing with legal issues, you're dealing with admin, you're having a meeting with your accountant about that R&D tax claim, or you're talking about so many different things. And then having to stop and learn all of this about AI, it is overwhelming. And then when you look at the competition doing this, it's even more overwhelming because I have that FOMO, like fear of missing out. I need to do this as well. So this is what I felt in this industry. It's like, whew, I can't keep up. I honestly can't keep up with AI. And that's true, we can't, okay? We can't. And this creates what we call AI anxiety. And I'm not going to go through the whole article, but I want to just guide you through as if we're reading together, and I will make a few comments about some of the highlights I had in these articles, okay? So, first, AI anxiety is the feelings of apprehension or fear stemming from the accelerated development of AI technologies. And then this proposed effective solutions to tackle the problem it starts by comparing AI anxiety with automation anxiety from the agricultural revolution, for example. And then there's also secondary causes of the AI anxiety, that's uncontrolled AI growth, privacy concerns, AI-generated misinformation, and AI biases. So areas like computer vision, natural language processing, robotics, and machine learning, they are growing exponentially. And then AI is actually doing now complex tasks such as disease diagnosis, autonomous driving, personalized recommendations, and enhancing customer service through intelligent chatbots. And guys, this all happened in just a few years. If you look back, how it exploded in the market and how it's been adopted by the population, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how fast it is. Okay. And one of the things to talk about AI, it uses a probabilistic method. So it's just trying to guess the next words when it's writing you an answer for a prompt you send to ChatGPT, for example. It's not deterministic. That's why if you ask 10 questions, you're going to have 10 different answers for the same question. So that's something to keep in mind when dealing with AI, because it doesn't solve all problems. It doesn't replace all jobs to be done out there, because sometimes we need the same answer. We need something that's more deterministic than probabilistic. There's also other things that are evolving very quickly in this segment. One is synthetic biomedical data generation, educational benefited from personalized learning, for example. When we have new courses now, they actually have an AI agent in that specific course to help you learn in the process. If you are interested in education, have a look on Alpha Education. It's amazing what they're doing in the United States, and it's a totally new revolution how we teach our kids through AI. There's automated content creation. If you open your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, a lot of what you see there is created by AI now, which sometimes is a little bit frustrating, because sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's just hey, it's so much content, but I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical with all fully generated automated AI content. And also the workplace experience higher productivity compared to the intellectual automation. That's the other main thing here. So before we had machinery that was replacing humans in the agricultural sector, and it took a while for that to happen. But with AI now, it's not only those repetitive jobs, it's also some intellectual jobs that are being replaced. AI can actually do some of that as well. It can do research like this. It can do, complex solving. It can, create so many new things that only very smart people would be able to do before, and now AI is doing that as well. And this is a threat in terms of that AI anxiety for us. I think one of the main worries around here, this document as well, is the profound changes the AI will bring to society. And this growing concern of AI anxiety, it's underscored the urgent need to evaluate AI ethical implications, societal impacts, and the uncertainties it poses for the future. So, something very interesting for you to keep in mind is, in this document here, it shows since 1950 the formalization foundations of AI and how it actually developed through time. And this guy here is Geoffrey Hinton. If you actually Google him, and I've done this before, Geoffrey Hinton. And if I open here Wikipedia, he's actually the father, the godfather of AI. This guy got a Nobel Prize for the work he did on artificial intelligence. Do some research on him. What I would like to bring your attention to is here at the end of this. If you have a look, Hinton announced his resignation from Google to be able to freely speak out about the risks of AI. He has voiced concerns about deliberate misuse of malicious actors, technological unemployment, and existential risk from artificial general intelligence. So, the godfather of AI, the guy who created the whole thing, he's now pretty much, his work is to actually tell people about the implications and the risks of artificial intelligence. If that doesn't worry you, I don't know what else does. It worries me a lot. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of this episode, this is not to tell that AI is a bad thing. I think the main goal here is to expose those risks and show to you in a more bird-eye view. I'm not going here very detailed about each one of the topics I'm covering, but I'm more generalizing some of these concepts so you can actually see and understand that there are some risks out there and we need to understand them better. So when you're implementing in your business, just be careful about this. Don't go all in because you can have troubles, okay? So this is one of the worries here on this document, specifically on Geoffrey Hinton's work, that it's like, hey, the guy who created this is a little bit kind of against it now. So, he knows stuff probably that we don't. So defining AI anxiety, that's that general apprehension of unease individuals experience in response to the rapid development of integration of AI technologies into various aspects of society. I have some AI anxiety. If you do, please comment below. Say, yeah, Arthur, me too. I've got some AI anxiety, and it's good to understand that there's actually some study around this topic, right? Because the complexity of it can be overwhelming for many, especially if you don't understand about AI. People start to bring spirituality into it. It's the demon. It's diabolic. It's this. It's that. Oh, this is not good. It's unsafe. But look, AI is a tool. Okay. The problem that can happen with AI, as Geoffrey says, the godfather of AI, is the misuse of artificial intelligence. So right now, with artificial intelligence, someone with good knowledge of biochemistry, for example, and the right tools, they can create a virus, and they can spread the disease all over the world. But at the same time, a medical expert can create the cure for cancer. Okay, with the amount of processing, the ability to synthesize, DNA. So there's so much out there that we could talk about. But I think this is the main challenge about AI anxiety. If it's overwhelming for many, specifically if you don't know about AI, you become even more worried because you're like, hey, what's this? It's this big monster out there. But it can be a good monster if you treat it well. So fostering a heightened sense of vulnerability and perceived loss of control. The intricate algorithms underpinning AI, the decision-making process, and the broad societal impacts often seem overwhelmingly complex and unpredictable. And I think that's true. I think you would agree that with what's written here. So it covers in this document some AI anxiety versus automation anxiety, which happened in the industries of manufacturing and agriculture, as we quickly discussed here before, because the ability of flexible AI systems to perform complex cognitive tasks now, it's different from before. And that's what raises the stakes, because when you have an automation as happened in the agriculture, we stop having people there, working on the land, and then we start having machinery, but that was a slow movement. But with AI, now everyone is kind of being replaced, like lawyers, engineers. A lot of what we have used to do technically in terms of the cognitive tasks can be done by AI now. And this is what worries a lot of people in the industry. So the fear of human redundancy now extends beyond the physical and repetitive realm into cognitive and versatile roles, encompassing industries such as healthcare, finance, and education. Imagine that, right? There are some concerns about job displacement, and then obviously ethical implications, how people are using these artificial intelligence tools out there and what they're doing with it. The scale and speed of technological integration, the age of automation unfolded over many decades, allowing society to gradually adapt to the changes brought by automation. In contrast, the current wave of AI advancements is characterized by unprecedented speed and global reach. So this is what I mentioned about a guy developing a new AI tool or new technology in Toronto, and in 10 minutes, all over the world has access to it. Before, if you guys develop a new machine, equipment for the agriculture, they need to manufacture it, they need to ship. There's a lot of there's a delay in that process to actually get to the hands of the people who are actually going to use it. But now, it's just instant. And what does it what does it mean for businesses? It just means that we gotta be quick in adapting, and you gotta be quick in understanding what are the opportunities, what are the threats out there. We can continue with our SWOT analysis, but that needs to be done pretty much daily instead of yearly. Other nice, interesting comment here is the how it kind of jumped technical search from such as AI anxiety, is AI dangerous, will AI replace me or this professional or whatever. So this is actually, as you can see, after 2023, it just keeps going up. And then there are some causes for this AI. One is the replacement by AI. So Google AI achieved near human precision in language translation. So imagine before, I used to go to events, I used to speak in events, and you'd have those people translating to other languages. Now we have systems that does that in real time. So you don't actually need those people to do that anymore. You can have an AI system that does that and translates to any language in the world. And it's actually kind of real time. AI platforms now begin to undertake contract analysis, like legal contract analysis, and actually use that in my business. I subscribe to a legal system that uses artificial intelligence, and I also have some lawyers there as the humans in the loop, but a lot of the work is done by AI. So we don't need all of that relationship with with lawyers anymore. The same happens for the accountants. The accountants, they're using more and more artificial intelligence, and then sometimes you have an artificial intelligence system that's managed by an accountant that oversees it all. So this is what's happening in the industry, and we need to kind of learn and keep up. Music. So I remember in the early days we used to discuss artificial intelligence with our friends, and we all thought, yeah, it's good for technical stuff, but it's not like a human. It doesn't create. It's not creative. But now AI can create music, can generate videos, can generate images, artwork, a lot of those things. And although it's not like human, it's not like a Mona Lisa, it's not Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, it's some type of art. So I was talking to a mentor the other day. I was in a Zoom call with him, and he said, look, I've been listening to this album on Spotify, and I really like these songs, and I was like, hey, I want to learn more about this band. Let me do some research. And then he was listening to it for like 3 months. And then when he actually checked, it was an AI. Like someone created an AI band and started composing through AI tools and published this on Spotify, and they were making money from that. And this guy, my friend, he was listening to it, and he was really enjoying it, and he didn't know it was AI until he figured it out. And he was a little bit like, wow, I think I was a little bit upset, but at the same time amazed, because I was really liking it. So maybe that's what the future is going to have for us. You're going to have human art, and you're going to have like AI art, and some people will buy AI art. Some people will, be more inclined in using that. Some people will prefer the human. So we're starting to divide. So in this example here, it's not that AI is replacing artists, but artists will start to compete with AI in some part of the market share. And if you like it or not, I think that's where the world is going. Okay, but once again, let's keep our eyes open, because this changes every day. AI anxiety also brings the uncertainty of what jobs and skills will remain in demand, feeling a perpetual state of worry about long-term job security. That, for me, was the case. I need to tell you, like, I have my business. I do many specific roles in my business, and I'm building a house, and I'm signing that like 30-year loan, and then you're like, hey, do I know where I'm gonna be in like 10 years? I'm sure I don't. So sometimes you like, even on a simple thing like this, you think, you know what? What if AI just dominates and everything changes? How am I gonna pay the loan? I don't know. I think people are thinking about things like this. So that's just an example of exactly this line of statement here that's actually happening in the world. And then there is also that existential anxiety. It's like, hey, if AI starts doing everything, what am I gonna do? And then we talk about the manual jobs, but then Elon Musk is building a lot of robots out there. And if you don't know it yet, just search for the Tesla robots and what they can do. and soon enough, in a few years, you're probably gonna have one of those in your house, and it's gonna be doing a lot of manual work, and it just evolves exponentially in the capabilities of what it can do. So in 10 years time, I think we're gonna have robots all over the place. Okay. And then it comes that existential anxiety. What am I going to do with the robots and if the AI is doing most of the manual work and also most of the cognitive work as well? Diminished sense of self-worth, and given that work is integral to an individual's sense of achievement and their contributions to society, automating these roles can introduce significant psychological challenges. Okay. So this document also shows a little bit of that. We have this person here. I'll name this Arthur, myself. And then it's like, hey, I have some privacy concerns using AI for my business. I have the challenge in discerning real from artificial content. I open the internet and it's just a lot of fake stuff. There's a war happening now in the Middle East, and there's a lot of fake videos out there. You don't know what's actually happening there anymore. Before you had the news, but now you don't even know if that's true or not. What they're faking, what's not faking, because the AI is so realistic that you cannot, differentiate what's actually true to what's not. So it becomes very, very tricky these days. And then you have that fear of uncontrolled AI growth. AI is just getting better and better. You have DeepSeek, you have China fighting against the United States, having the best artificial intelligence. And within the United States, you have Anthropic, you have OpenAI, you have xAI. All of these companies, trying to get the best models. And a massive consuming in resources to actually power all of those data centers, and where it's going to end. And also the bias in artificial intelligence that, it's trained with a specific amount of information from those models, and it can have bias. It can actually write information to you that, it's an hallucination, or it doesn't actually align to your values and your needs. On top of it, you have the uncontrolled AI growth. That pretty much this. That's the AI evolving autonomously at a pace that surpasses human management and understanding. We cannot understand what's going on with AI. It's moving so fast and so quickly that you don't understand where, you cannot audit it. You cannot open the box and see what's in there because it's just replicating things every day. And the ability to make independent or unpredictable decision, including the risk of deviating from their programmed functions or developing harmful behaviors. That's also things that some of these AI experts are worried about. A great example of it is the lethal autonomous robots like the Lars, the self-learning machines designated to autonomously engage military targets. Imagine those drones flying there trying to kill everyone. I wouldn't like to live in a world like that. So fears that these technologies could get out of control can lead individuals to contemplate apocalyptic scenarios, further heightening AI anxiety. Okay. And then there's privacy concerns. I'll start going a little bit faster here, but personal data and challenges. When you're talking to ChatGPT, especially if you're talking to these AI large language models without paying for it, if you don't pay, you are the product. So just know that the data is gonna be used to train those models in most cases. And I would like to show you some good example here. If you have Google, so just go to your settings and come here to in smart resources of Google Workspace. For some reason, mine is in Portuguese today. So if you open it here, you're gonna see that there is this option here, and generally activated is on by default. That's telling that if you activate this, you agree and allow Google Workspace to use your content, your activities to personalize your experience in all products of Workspace, which means they're gonna be able to see your events, like your Google Calendar. You're going to be able to see your flights. You're going to be able to see your invites. You're going to be able to see what you're searching. And then it's actually going to use this. Well, I don't know you, but I don't like that. I prefer my data to be private, especially because our emails is where most of our private information is exchanged. When you buy an airfare, when you're actually sending important documents to like visas, passports, and stuff, it's all in your email. And if you allow Google to see all of that, I don't like it. So I prefer to deactivate it. So if you're using Google or Microsoft, just try to turn off that immediately. And in Google, all you have to do is go to your settings and go to General, scroll down to Smart Resources, and turn that off. Okay, turn everything off and save it. That way, at least that they won't be able to see your data, or at least they say they won't. And then coming back to here, There is the loss of autonomy when AI systems collect and analyze personal data without explicit consent. Individuals may feel powerless, contributing to increased stress. What I just shared with you here, okay? That's another risk and worry about it. Predicting future behaviors, preference, and even emotional states by knowing information about you, it often leads to target advertisement, personalized content, and automated decision-making processes. Some people like this. I honestly prefer not to. I prefer to have that privacy and make my own decisions and use AI as a tool, not as someone that starts to manage my life. Such integration can reveal intimate details and connections that individuals prefer to keep private, intensifying feelings of vulnerability and exposure. So as you can see, guys, there's a lot of things here that contribute to that AI anxiety, and the more you understand about it, sometimes it increases that anxiety because you understand more the real problem. And at the same time, when you know nothing about it, you also have that anxiety because you know nothing about it, and you're just like, oh, what can you do about it? So continue here, you have the AI generated misinformation. So once again, if you open the social media these days, it's all about misinformation. They're using this to manipulate the elections. They're using this to manipulate how you think about yourself, your body, the products you consume, for a lot of things. Okay, there's a lot of agenda and propaganda in the social media, and they're also fabricating realistic scientific images, such as medical scans, scientific results, which can impact research findings. There's the inability to discern from truth from fabrication that can lead to phenomenon known as reality apathy, where individuals become indifferent to distinguishing between real and fake content due to constant exposure to misinformation. We just don't care anymore. It's just like, oh, everything's fake, so whatever. That's kind of the feeling that it's actually describing here. Okay. Okay, continue here. There's the AI-driven scams, such as sophisticated deepfakes and phishing campaigns using chatbots and voice synthesizers. It's very easy to do this now. If you just get someone in the internet, you can get their voice, you can clone their voice, you can even clone a video of them, and you can impersonate them, and you can send a message saying, hey mom, can you send me $1,000? I need that. And if your mom answers the phone and it's your voice saying, hey, give me $1,000, she's probably going to give it to you. I don't know. So there's a lot of AI-driven scams, and once again, how do you distinguish between fake and not? So one thing that we actually have in our family is to have a code. It's like that warning code. If anything like this happen, I'll just ask straight away, okay, and I'm going to ask my wife, what's the code? She knows the code, AI doesn't, okay? So, and once again, it's not AI guys creating those threats and scams, it's people using AI. At the same time we have this, we have a lot of good people working into AI to develop cybersecurity measurements to actually, avoid this from happening. All banks have investments on this because they know that most of the AI scams come from financial corporations. We also have AI bias, which is, significant contributing to AI anxiety. So we've talked a lot about these different things here about AI. As I said, I think this article here is very good, but here comes the potential solutions and mitigation measurements that I'd like to, at least so you can have that in the back of your mind. The first one is mental health professionals. The mental health professionals, they need to understand a little bit about AI so they can understand this AI anxiety situation and they can treat it well. And we need more increased research in AI-reduced anxiety and tactics. At the same time, we have the regulators, which honestly for me, I think it's very tricky to regulate this market because of the lobby, political and economical lobby in terms of investments in AI. There are billions and billions and trillions of dollars being invested in this industry. And if you go to these guys, let's say OpenAI, and say, guys, you need to stop your investments until we figure out how to manage AI. I don't think they're going to do that, okay? And if the government wants to do that, look, we are in a war right now. We might be entering like the beginning of a third world war, who knows? So do governments want to reduce the AI investments? I don't think so. So it's very tricky here, guys. If you are an expert in the regulations of AI or on this specifically, I would like to hear more from you. What's your suggestion and what you're planning? But as a business owner myself, I just look at this and I'm like, how are these guys going to regulate this? Honestly. So, for example, in Australia, they were saying that Australian companies cannot use in Australian servers AI systems because of the copyright law. So what's happening is people are using that in other parts of the world. So we're just not creating that information in Australia, but we're creating it outside of Australia. So it's very hard, it's very hard to regulate this. But then we have the educational institutions. Once again, have a look on Alpha School. I really like what they do for kids. But we need to integrate AI literacy in curricula. We need at least to tell our kids how the basics of it works and the threats and how you need to be worried about it, but also the good things of it. Just like what I'm doing here for the business guys. So our episode 1 was about the good things I'm doing with AI, and there's a lot of nice things. We're gonna have more episodes about the awesome things I'm building with AI here. But at the same time, we have this content here that's more like, hey, just a warning, just know what you're dealing with. Because I think AI is like an electricity. It can, power a city, or it can kill a person. Okay, so it all depends on how you use it. So you need to be very careful about using it. So if you just put electricity out there, people would just touch, everywhere and die with a shock. So we need to have, for example, the regulators saying, okay, the only person that's going to be doing this specific part here is the certified electricians, and we need to have education. We need to teach people how to become an electrician, and then we have, engineers, have all of the other areas of the society, contributing to something that works well. And I think that's the case for AI. It can power a city, but it can kill a person if used improperly. So we need to be worried. We need to understand what we're dealing with. It's a very powerful tool. Okay. So there's some information about education here, and then also non-profit organization and community groups, and then for how engineers should be dealing with the potential solutions and mitigation measurements for that AI anxiety. There are a lot more around this topic here. If you're interested in this, I would highly recommend reading it. I'm just coming back here to the discussion of conclusions. Artificial intelligence has undeniably emerged as a transformative force in contemporary society, with its numerous benefits evident in its capacity to enhance productivity, streamline processes, and augment human capabilities. Rapidly process and analyze vast amounts of data, extracting insights and identifying patterns that may elude human observers. This analytical strength is catalyzing breakthroughs and enabling new discoveries across various fields. Moreover, AI technologies are facilitating the development of novel solutions that not only replicate human tasks but also surpass human limitations, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. On the other side, over-reliance on AI systems without adequate safeguards may lead to unforeseen challenges, including the perpetuation of existing biases, ethical dilemmas, and unintended societal consequences. As AI systems become more autonomous and integrated in decision-making processes, concerns about accountability, transparency, and control become increasingly salient. Awesome. Let's have a breathe. I've been talking a lot today, right? I think we ended here with what I believe is the most important topic for business owners like us. Accountability, transparency, and control. Look at this. Let that sink in for a while. Concerns about accountability, transparency, and control. That's why when implementing artificial intelligence in your business, you need to be the human in the loop, because you need accountability, you need transparency and control. If you just put AI to do everything for you and that starts to break, guess what? That liabilities come to you, because you're that human in the loop. This is why it's important to do that in a strategic way. And coming back here to my approach to all of this, as I said, I'm always working with technology, people, and processes. So we need to have some policies around it. We need to have good processes, but we also need to train people on how to do it well, because the technology is there. And the technology is not the limitation here. The technology that we have now in 2026 is just way more than we need. But we need to train people well, so we can have accountability, control, and transparency without just blaming ChatGPT for what's out there, which actually happened in court cases in many places out there. Like, oh, sorry, that was ChatGPT. That's not an excuse, guys. If our business make a mistake, our clients are not gonna care if it's ChatGPT or not. It's our business who made a mistake. So we need to be very conscious about this. Okay. So these are a little bit of my worries about AI so far, sharing some of it with you, and then I'll share just a few tips here for you in terms of how to do it or not to do it. In terms as a business owner, don't be a tool chasing. What's the tool chasing? You see a new AI tool on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever. You watch a content, you sign up, you try for 20 minutes, and then, hey, that doesn't work. It's too complex, and you leave it. You just wasted money and 20 minutes, okay? And then this happens again next week. There's this new AI tool out there. And look, I've done this myself with many tools. I've done this a lot. And there was a big lesson learned. Hey, don't do it. And I continue seeing people doing this with ChatGPT, AI courses, automation tools, prompt libraries. They're just studying a lot of things. They're trying to implement, but they're not moving the needle. And after lots of months, they realize, hey, that's not going to improve my business. How to do it well instead? Start with a business problem, not a tool. So, for example, instead of, hey, look, there's this new Claude call work. Let me explore it. Let me learn it. No. As a business owner with many things to do, a family to raise, and a lot of responsibilities, think about the job to be done and the challenge you have in your business right now. What I have done for me that helped was I listed every single task that I do in different departments: marketing, sales, business operations, value creation, value delivery, and what I do on my weekly basis. And I was like, okay, which of these areas I want to kind of remove from my list of tasks that I need to do daily. And then we start with our repetitive work in our business that consumes times every week, and we say, okay, now let me find something that's gonna fix this problem. And then if you have that in mind, then we can use actually artificial intelligence to help us out, figuring out what tools can do that for us. And come back to that cycle that I mentioned before: build, measure, and learn. You're going to have that, okay, I need to do this, let me try a few things, let me measure, is it working? No, let me move until I find what works well. And then test that, measure if it saves time, improve the process, and repeat. And I'll give you a good example of what happened to my business was the AI receptionist. So I had someone, as I mentioned, working for my business from the Philippines, and their role was to pick up the phone. So as soon as someone calls us, he's like, hey, hello, my name is, I'll just say any name here. My name is Maria, and I'm here from Shedmate. All of our engineers are unavailable at the moment, but can I help you? And then people say, yeah, can you ask Arthur to give me a call? I need a problem. And like, oh, okay, can you tell me specifically what's the problem you're facing? And then people would kind of start describing more information about it, and she would write all of that information down and organize that in my files. And then when I started in front of the computer, I would look, okay, this person called and that's the problem they need to fix. I would kind of fix that for that person and call back with a solution. So that was the role of that person, to be a middleman between like my client who had a problem and the engineering team who would need to fix that problem. Guess what? We implemented an AI system that does that. So when someone calls my business now, an AI will answer the phone, and that AI will start asking a lot of questions. So the way I did this was to train the AI with the right information from my business. So most of the questions that anyone would ask, the AI will have an answer for it, and it's going to tell exactly that answer to the person using a natural, voice conversation tone. So it looks like you're talking to a person. The only reason I put in the beginning, hey, this is an AI tool, was because of the regulation compliance. But if I didn't put like there was an AI, most people would not know that was actually an artificial intelligence talking to them. Which I tested it many times. I shared with like family members. I tested with a lot of people, and it was great. And then I put it to the test. I put it out there, and the first week was no good. So what happened is every time that someone called us and they heard, hi, I'm an AI agent from Shedmate, they would hang out straight away, and they would send a message, ask Arthur to call me back, ask Tiago to do this, ask someone else to do that. And then we were like, maybe that won't work with our specific audience because, people don't want to like talk to the AI. But then I said, you know what, let's just leave that for a month. And what happened was, it started to work. So he got some calls about, hey, I have this bug on my Shedmate system, and the AI system would work really well, and it'd say, okay, what's the problem you're having? Oh, the problem is because I have this project. Oh, can I ask you the project name? And then the person would start giving a lot of information to the AI agent, which would compile all of that information and send to the right person. And then my team would be able to actually open the system, see the full problem, fix it, and then call that person back saying, hey, look, we fixed the problem. And same with sales. I open my sales channel, and I can see that, hey, this is John from that specific company. That's their phone number. This is the main problem they have in the business, and they would like to talk to someone from Shadmate to understand if that can be applicable and implemented in their business by the end of July. Wow, it's working now. So it was a kind of trial and error process, but then we were able to automate that part of the business. And now let's go to another job to be done. Okay, I need to get prospecting. And then I was able to do that using CloudBot. So CloudBot is actually prospecting every day. It's sending 5 to 10 new leads to my list, telling exactly why they're a good fit, and the information about the contact, the size of the business, and why they match with our offering, and all of that. So all of this is extremely exciting for me, because I can see that those specific jobs to be done, the tasks I need to do on a weekly basis, they're being slowly replaced to AI. And when I do that, I can focus more on the essential things that work for my business. So we come back to the top there. It's not that AI is going to replace your business, but people with AI, your job, but people with AI knowledge, we replace those without it. And it's the same now with business. If my costs are lower now using AI, my business will be able to provide a better job for cheaper, and then my competitors are going to have problems. So, in other words, if your business is not using artificial intelligence, you're going to start losing market for those using artificial intelligence. And that's why we need to understand how to do that strategically in a way that works well. Okay. So just a few topics here that I haven't mentioned, but although AI can do all of those things, people still connect with humans, right? So just have that in mind. So our AI receptionist is just that gatekeeper, but obviously I am still the person, or my team here is still the guys who actually call those customers, call those prospects, and have a good conversation with them. I hate when I receive an AI call trying to sell me something, but once again, that's changing. Sometimes, you might be happier in talking to an AI that might be effective than with some people, or just knowing that you don't have that emotional feeling of saying no, when AI calls. You're just like, you know what, you're an AI, I'm not interested, see you later. So maybe with time, people will be happy to receive some of those calls coming from the AI for business-related stuff, not for connection, right? That's very important to understand that difference. But for business purpose, maybe AI can start becoming a very good solution for that market segment. Let's see, right? Let's see what's going to happen. And then to close here, there was a lot that we discussed here. I think we discussed a little bit about that gap between the AI hype and the reality. There's a lot in AI, a lot of investment, a lot of fake news, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that works well, but there is a lot of threats and things that we need to be aware of so we can provide a good service to our customers and to ourselves. We discussed why many small business owners, they can feel overwhelmed by AI, and that AI anxiety topic, and why understanding this early is actually an opportunity, so you can protect yourself and understand that this is going to happen, this is the reality of it, and then you can be more confident implementing your business, understanding the pros and cons of using AI. And the goal here is not to become an AI expert. The goal here is to understand AI so you can apply that in your business to create, profitable outcomes from it. And we want to be a business owner who understands how to use AI strategically, not only learn all of the tools out there, play with all of the tools. You understand that the tools are just part of the thing, of the technology, but we also have people and processes that we need to, align really well so we can have a great outcome. And he's just not an advice. I'm not your AI guru. I'm here just sharing with you what's working for me, and I would like to hear that from someone before I started. It's like, learn the fundamentals, I think there's a very good book I would like to suggest, and I actually put this book here. It's called Coexistence AI. Let me actually search here to show you exactly that book. Co-Intelligence, sorry, I said the wrong one. Co-Intelligence, and this is the book here, Living and Working with AI from Ethan Mollick. I really like this book. It's very, easy to read. You can read this in a day, but it shows you some of those fundamentals so you can understand it well. And build, measure, and learn, and keep doing it because it's constantly changing. You need to be fine-tuning those three main areas: the technology they're using, the processes, and also the people, and how your people are actually interacting with those tools. The other kind of advice I share is like block some time to do this, not only for you not to do it, but for you not to overdo it. Because when you start playing with AI, when you start, playing with tools and implementing in your business, it's super exciting. But if you actually to focus on it, you might lose track of the important things you need to do. Those calls you need to make, the sales, the team trainings. So if you're a business owner, understand you have many different things to do. As in my case, I'm blocking every Saturday morning a few hours. I talk to my family about it. Everyone is aligned, and then I spend some time playing with artificial intelligence. Okay, so I don't overdo it. At the same time, I don't, slack in not doing it every week. And it's very important to do that, so we can keep, understanding how it's working, and we can refine our business in a way that kind of follows the AI wave. And never forget that AI can do a lot, but human connects with humans. Okay, it's very important to do that. Don't treat AI as a spiritual guru, as a psychologist. So a lot of people are doing that. It can help you with some, technicalities about, for example, cognitive training and a few things like that. But it's not your therapist. It's not the right person to talk about all of your problems. Remember that all of that information might be being used to train AI, and you don't want your private information in the hands of an artificial intelligence. So just be careful with that. It can do a lot of things for your business, but it's not a person. It's not a god. Okay, it's very important to say that. So just one action step here, so you can benefit from it, from AI today. As I said, just block on your agenda right now. Block 1 hour per week. You can be a Saturday morning. You can be wake up earlier 1 day a week. You have the time to do that. Come on, let's do that. If you wake up at 6, wake up at 5 every Wednesday, and just spend 1 hour just learning, doing anything about AI. Block that on your calendar. 1 hour we do it. 1 hour a week. And then during that hour, test one AI use case in your business. As I said, define your business challenges first. I have this challenge. Okay, let me see how AI can help me on that challenge. And then you're going to be using artificial intelligence to help you out to build a plan, and then you're going to continue executing that plan, and I'm sure you're going to find a solution out of it. Not 1, not 10, just 1. Sorry, 1, not 10. If you need any help, just put it below on this video what's that specific task for you, and maybe I can help and give some suggestions based on what I've been doing here. But yeah, just pick one at a time. This avoids overwhelm and helps you build real skills over time, and most importantly, don't let AI anxiety stop you from advancing. The business that start learning now will have a huge advantage in the next few years. Once again, the technology is moving extremely fast, but people and processes need to keep up, so you can have a business that has a good outcome using AI. It's not only about the technology, it's about technology, businesses, processes, and people. That's it, everyone. I think we covered a lot of different topics on this session. I'm very, happy to have you here. If you got until the end of this this live, just put below what business challenge or what job to be done you're gonna start using AI to improve your business, and then let me know on the comments, and I'll help you out getting there. Thank you very much for watching one more video, and hope to see you on episode 3.